Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm going to be doing a full get ready with me from start to finish, just testing some new makeup that I've gotten in the past couple of weeks or stuff that's been hanging around for a really long time that I just have not gotten around to using yet because I'm a clown. This is the GLAMINATRIX Nearly Natural. I have had this since I swear must have been the beginning of February is when I've had this, and it's been so long and I haven't gotten around to using it yet, which is an absolute crime. This was on sale, so I got this during the Ulta sale, just something I've been meaning to try for a while, and with how stressful things have been, I mean, I just wanted to get one nice thing for myself. And then there was a flash deal where this was half off on the Rose Inc website, and I've heard really good things about the shade Foxglove being just a really great warm bricky burnt blush, so I want to make a look that centers around this shade so that I can use it. So to start off with, I'm going to put on some primer, so I'm going to use the Dominique Cosmetics primer first. And then I'm going to use something I received in PR, and this is going to be the SHAISHAISHAI Banana Conceal Eye Cream. I first saw this in use by Minsko in one of her videos on concealing her under eyes, and it really caught my attention. So it had been on my wish list for a while, and then the company did reach out to me and ask if I wanted to receive it in PR, so I did. I've had it for quite a while now, I just haven't gotten around to having much more than a reel in the makings with this, so I figure I will put this in today's video. It doesn't really color correct or conceal much at all. As you can see, it is an extremely sheer product. It is less of a concealer or corrector, and it is more of an eye cream that is tinted. So if you think of it that way, then the coverage makes a lot more sense. Now that being said, it still does make a subtle difference. I think you can kind of tell just very subtly that there's been a little bit of discoloration correction. So I do find that my concealer is able to cover a little bit better with this underneath. And the nice thing about this is that it is very, very hydrating. So as an under eye primer, I do quite appreciate it. So I personally do think it is quite nice. I saw it first on Beauty Box Korea, but I believe the email was telling me it is on Olive Young now, so if you are interested in it, it is a little bit more readily available than it used to be. Again, I just received this in PR and not sponsor or anything. As an under eye primer, I do personally really like it, and it does offer a tiny bit of correction, so I think it's a good product. It didn't necessarily blow my socks off like I was hoping it would though, but it's not bad. So I think if I ever ran out, I would go and repurchase it because of the fact that it is so hydrating and nice. So that's what that looks like. And I'm going to use the KVD Good Apple Liquid Foundation today. I want something that's a little bit more, because I'm probably going to end up going pretty overboard with my makeup look since the Nearly Natural palette has such beautiful shimmers. I just will not be able to resist it, so I'm going to go for something a little bit more full coverage. And I'm not really wanting something super glowy today, which I think is just so interesting because this was not marketed for dry skin. Balm foundation was marketed for dry skin, but I honestly think this is more dry skin friendly than the balm is. I use half a pump for my whole face because the coverage is so high, and then it lays down really well. I'd imagine if I used a full pump on my face, then it would look really bad. So this is definitely a less is more product. And since my forehead is usually covered with my bangs, I put very little product on my forehead, so that probably helps too. I don't use as much foundation because I have no forehead. You know, if you have a forehead to cover, of course you're gonna have a little bit more surface area than me. And that pretty much covers my whole face, and you can see I still have some left, so I really just use such a thin layer across my whole face, but I think that is one of the reasons it ends up laying down on my face so well. So that's what that looks like. It's been a good favorite of mine. I do really like it. Alright, next I'm going to use the JX Professional Triple Concealer. I'm just going to use a good old... I will make a video talking about my concealers eventually. It's been delayed because I was hoping to film it a lot earlier than I ended up, but it will go up sometime, and I honestly think it's a good thing I didn't film it as soon as I was intending to, because one of the products I initially had a good review of, I kind of take it back because of the fact that the product has kind of started to separate, and it's only been a few months. So I'm glad that I'll be able to mention that because that makes the product definitely a lot less worth it than I thought it was. If you heard any sounds, that was Melody. She gets onto my desk to go to her favorite sleeping bed by climbing across my box of shipping materials, and so she climbs up that to get to the desk because she's so small. Alright, and then I just used my D'Alba setting spray. First I'm just going to go ahead and actually go in with this blush first. This is the shade Foxglove. Now, I am going to be the first to admit that I'm being a hypocrite because I keep repeatedly saying that I don't support clean beauty, and here I am buying a rose ink product, but it was very cheap. I got it for like under $18 because it was on sale, and I am curious, honestly, kind of like a science experiment. I'll see how long this lasts in my collection. If it expires in like 3 months, I'll let you guys know. So I'm gonna try this shade with a brush. I've honestly been thinking about this product for a while. I'm just gonna go in with a brush, and like I want to get better at using cream products. Like I feel like I'm not the greatest at my makeup skills with cream products are really not that great, and I'd like to improve. So so it's not as matte as I was hoping it would be, but it's not taking off my base either. So I can definitely see how this is being marketed as like a lip and cheek product. I personally don't think I'll ever use this on my lips. I don't really find that products marketed for both ever work for both. They usually just work for one or the other. But this is pretty. It is shearing out really nicely, so it's not quite as dark in the pan. And as you can see, I'm gonna apply it in kind of like a C shape. It's actually quite soft. I will say I'm like a little bit shocked at how sheer it is. I was expecting this to be a little bit more opaque because it is really intense looking in the pan. It does layer up pretty easily. Like you can see, it took me a couple layers, but I was able to build it up pretty easily, and it is blending out without much effort. It is blending out really easily. It's not taking off my foundation or my concealer. Blends out really easily. It is a really pretty shade too, but it is dewier than I expected. I think you can see there is some glow prominently showing through that was not there before I put this product down. So even though it looked a little bit more matte in pan, it actually is a little bit more emollient than I expected, but it's still not too bad. It was very firm, like it didn't slosh around in the pan. It was quite firm. So I think you can see now though with the brush imprint, you can kind of see how it's a little bit dewier than I thought it would be now that you can see the streaks there. Okay, I'm like into this. Okay, so I'm going to put on some powder now because next I'm going to go ahead and go in with bronzer. The reason I'm doing my cheeks first is because it's more important for my eyes to match my cheeks today than usually it is. So it was on sale, so it's a lot cheaper than usually because this honestly is not super cheap, and it does swing upwards, and there's a mirror on the bottom. And this is the L'Oreal Infallible bronzer. I know this was making the rounds a long time ago, so I finally got it, and I have it in the shade 200, which is the lightest shade. So I'm going to try it. And I do like how I was a little bit nervous about this shade being very warm based on the product photos, but it's actually not as warm as I thought it would be, which is great. Yeah, you see how it barely shows up? This reminds me, honestly, it reminds me of Hula Light. It's a little bit darker than Hula Light, I think, but of course the most affordable high quality bronzer I've ever tried is actually the one from Essence, not gonna lie, but that one has only like 2 or 3 shades, and this one does go a lot deeper, so if you need a darker bronzer than what Essence has on offer, it's quite nice. And it was on sale, so it's drugstore prices are a little bit audacious these days, and L'Oreal is more expensive for drugstore, but on sale I got this for like under 10 bucks. Not a good deal, and so if it goes on sale again, you know, and you want to pick it up, I don't think it's not bad. I liked it. It was easy to use. I'll see how well it wears. I may bring this with me because if I break it or lose it, it would be easy to replace. Learned my lesson from that time that I brought that Dior highlighting quad and my sister dropped it and broke it, and it's a shade, it's a limited edition shade. I actually can't replace it. I saw it on Beauty Box Korea, but it's literally like almost $100 because of like the reseller markup and shipping. So I'm trying to make sure I just bring stuff I can replace. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do eye primer first, and then that will be setting while I do my eyebrows and my face powder. So I'm going to go that way because I do like giving my eye primer a couple minutes to just kind of be on my eyelids. I honestly don't know if it does anything, but I just feel like I keep hearing that you're supposed to do that, so this will be my first time trying the GLAMINATRIX eyeshadow palette. I do have their singles. I did a video using one of their hollow singles, and I was a little bit disappointed, not in the quality of the shadow, but the hollow was really actually like invisible hollow, like I didn't see it, so that was a little bit disappointing. So I'm gonna use the Espoir Brow Balance in the shade 02 Cool Gray. I saw Minsko use a shade that I didn't realize existed. It was like shade 6 or something, so I guess there's been a shade extension, so I may check it out once I start running low on this one because this is genuinely such a good product. Now, the price of this fluctuates wildly depending on where you go. I've seen it for as low as $8 to $10 on places like YesStyle, but on Olive Young, I've seen it go over $20. When I got it for like $9, and it is this. So if you're like me and you have black hair and you're looking for a brow pencil that's not straight black like a lot of Western brow pencils are, but you need it to have not any warmth in it at all, this shade Cool Gray has been really great. It's a very unique shade. Initially, I had been using the Shiseido brow pencil, the very short and tiny one that you can find on like Amazon and eBay. It's actually kind of hard to find because like you'll find it from a seller or on an eBay listing, and then you'll go back a couple weeks later and it's not there anymore and you have to find another seller to buy from. It's just kind of a hassle to constantly be chasing that product. My brows are so messy. I'm very stressed right now. You'll have to excuse these messy brows. I'm very stressed right now. But I just wanted to relax, play with some makeup. Alright, so that's my messy eyebrows complete. I'm going to do some powder. So under my eyes, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty powder in pink and cherry blossom. I really want to try other pink powders because I've noticed that, you know, every brand has a pink powder now. It feels like every brand's pink powder tends to be subtly different from others. Like some of them will be more pink, others will be less pink, some will be a warmer pink, others will be a colder pink. And I am really interested in trying some other pink powders on the market because I feel like this one being the first pink one, it's not necessarily super flattering on me. I feel like there might be some other pinks out there that are a little bit more of a better match for me. I just, you know, it's not really something I can be spending money on right now. I do have a Rouge Reward gift card, but I'm just waiting for something that I really am going to really want. I do know some people have said this powder is kind of drying, but if I use it see how little I put on the brush? If I use it in amounts like that, it is actually really nice for me to use, and it is one of my favorite summer powders because it really does lock my makeup down. I am honestly kind of terrified because it is in the high 80s, low 90s as a high, and the humidity at the hottest point of the day in Guilin, the humidity is like almost 90%, and the heat index is over like 105, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I actually don't know how I'm going to make it. I'm not bringing this powder with me to China because it's loose. I pretty much never bring loose powders with me because they just explode and make a mess everywhere, but I am gonna have to bring something that is going to make my makeup as bulletproof as possible. Alright, and then for the rest of my face, I'm just gonna go in with a powder that is much easier on the skin. I'm going to use the Kogendo Brightening Moisture powder in Beige. For those who don't know, I did get this powder in pink way back in the day and I was so excited to have it, and it's like got like glitter sparkles everywhere and it made my skin look terrible. So I still have it, but I have it like way in the back of the drawer and I basically never use it. That was like literal top 10 anime betrayals for me because I was like, if they had just made it the same formula as this but pink, it would have been absolute perfection. It would have been pink powders before pink powders became a thing. So it's not the same as this one. So, but I have it in this shade. It's got a really big dent in it at this point because I've used it so much, so I do really like that. Okay, so I'm now going to go in with this eyeshadow palette. I'm not sure what eyeshadows I want to bring with me when I go. I was kind of iffy on using this palette knowing that I have Foxglove because Foxglove is so warm, but it actually ended up looking quite toned down. Now that I've powdered and applied bronzer, it is actually quite subtle, so I think I'll be able to make it work. I think I'm gonna like maybe use this shade down here, maybe this shade down here, and that way I can kind of keep things looking a little bit on the warm side. So I'm gonna start off with Barely There, which, let me hold it up again. It's this shade up here. I'm just gonna start with that and just kind of sweep that all over the eyelid. And I'm going to use a giant brush because, hold on. Just a very basic warm brown shade. I'm going to use that to start adding dimension, and I'm using a really big brush because I want it to be nice and diffused, just like no effort blending. And I'm not applying a fully opaque layer. I'm just using this to really just kind of start pushing my eye socket back in space, start adding some depth and dimension. And just FYI, I'm probably not going to have any real content from while I'm there because I'm not there to have fun. I don't think I'm going to have anything of interest to film while I'm there, I'll be honest, and I'm going to be too busy. I'm not bringing my camera for sure because I need to pack as light as possible, so. And I do appreciate everybody always respecting my privacy, because I do kind of tend to be a little bit more conservative on what I share, and I already still feel like sometimes I overshare on the internet all the time. But anyways, I'm going to now go into Disrobe here. There's no okay, so the only criticism I have of this palette matte-wise is going to be that I've got this shade here, and then I've got this shade here, and I don't have anything value-wise, I have nothing between those two and this. So I think those two shades are redundant, and one of them could have been the midpoint between this shade and this shade. That's my only criticism of this palette. Other than that, it's fine. So hopefully when I apply Disrobe, I can really sheer it out and like kind of use it very lightly. I like very lightly dipped into the pan, and I'm using a flat brush, but the bristles are very soft. And hopefully I can blend it too. We'll see how well these shades blend. I've never used a GLAMINATRIX matte before. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not blending out quite as easily as I was hoping for. I think I'm going to go for like maybe a more dolly look, and so I may use an eyeliner later to drag out my lower lash line a little bit, but I'm going to quickly do the other eye, and I kind of am like tapping the excess off onto a paper towel, apply very little, and then it blends out easier that way. I'm sure me using a flat brush is not doing it any favors in the blending department, but these bristles are so soft and malleable, should theoretically still be able to blend. Alright, that's actually really, really pretty. So I am very happy that I was able to use the shadow that way. Alright, so I really want to go into the shimmers now, so... Mochi, you say hello, Chi. You stinky. Are you stinky? She just farted. So smelly. It is so stinky here now. Oh my god, Mochi, you are so gross. You just farted. Although I guess it serves me right for picking you up. Sometimes when I pick her up and she gets mad, she farts. And now she's stinky. Serves me right. Alright, so I'm gonna first go into Raw, which is over here. I'm going to see how that looks, maybe like kind of closer to my eyelid. Just generally, we're gonna try for like a vertical gradient kind of situation, maybe also sweep it up diagonally a little bit. I'm sure that these are gonna look really great with a finger as well, but I do want to go for a softer look today, so I'm gonna just build it up very slowly. I'm not using a glitter glue, and I do have matte eyeshadow all over my eyelid, so this will definitely be a test of adhesion. So I'm just kind of applying it across that diagonal there. And I have seen swatches of these, and I've seen other people just like press them all over their eyelids, and it just looks like everything I want in a shimmer shadow. Alright, and now I'm going to go into Second Skin, and I'm going to put on a lot more of this. I'm just going to use a brush to establish the range of it first, and then I will use a finger, because my nails are so short right now because I keep breaking them all that I will be able to use a finger. I think I'm going to get a pedicure while I'm in China. They are very cheap to get done, and I would like to have something on my toes. Alright, I'm going to use a finger now, and look at that. Oh my god. That is insane. Yeah, see, look at this poor middle fingernail, just completely broke. And my middle finger nail beds are my shortest nail beds, so of course now my middle finger looks especially ugly and unflattering. Have you seen some of those Korean nail artists on YouTube who have like just like infinitely long nail beds? I'm so jealous. I'm not gonna do the same with Raw though, because otherwise it's going to look a little, it's going to kind of make this look a lot less deep by contrast. And then I'm gonna take Naked Eye, which is this, oh my gosh, just this beautiful. Again, I don't have nails, so I can do inner corner highlights with my finger. I would say I'll bring this with me, but it is going to be a little bit too big and bulky for me to bring. I am going to have to pack very light. I just want to mess around a little bit. I'm going to take Unveiled, which is this pink. I think this will make a really pretty lower lash line shade, and it'll kind of work with the pinkier tones in Foxglove. The innermost part of my inner corner lower part, I'm obviously going to just go in with Naked Eye. I definitely will try to do a 3 looked 1 palette video, because I think now that I've actually used it on my eyes once, I feel really excited, so my motivation has increased a little bit, so it may actually get done now. I do want to do some darker work with eyeliner. I'm not going to use this palette just because I just want to play around with like a ton of products, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some eyeliner for this. So I'm going to go in with the Nabla Cupid's Arrow number 2. Just going to use a pencil brush to loosely blend it out, not going for anything super remarkable here. Yeah, I love how quickly and easily the Nabla Cupid's Arrow formula blends out, and I have personally used them in the waterline without much issue. And I personally don't use eyeshadow to do this kind of lower lash line detail work anymore. It just doesn't work for me. So I have actually, because my Huda Beauty double-ended mascara finally dried out, I opened up the MAC MAC Stack Mascara, which I have in the floral packaging, really cute. And I actually really like this, and I definitely do want to get the smaller wand version sometime. This is the normal size wand, and it's serviceable for my lower lashes, but I can definitely tell that I will be able to use this much more effectively if I have the smaller version. So that is on my wish list to get someday, probably just when this dries out. And it does actually, like, I can totally layer on more than this. I'm not going to, but I could. It is a really nice mascara. I am very pleased with it so far. And ordinarily, if I really wanted to, like, enhance the doe-eyed look, I would not put mascara on the outermost corners, and I would put, like, false lashes or draw fake lashes following this line, but I'm not going to do that today just because I don't really have that kind of time. I'm gonna use DOE LASHES Morning Dew just because they happen to be open, and because my camera is here and I'm too lazy to get up and turn it off, I'm just going to, for the first time in centuries, put my lashes on camera. And then once it's on, I kind of just like basically close my eye and I let the glue set, and I don't mess with it anymore. This highlighter up here is going to be a great one for me to use. Now, I fell off one of my chairs, and if I turn it upside down, this top pan just completely falls out, so oopsie doopsies on that one. So I'm going to go in with Confidential. Okay, and then for my lip product, I'm going to go with something a little bit on the warmer side, but not too terribly warm. I actually think this might work, the Romand Blur Fudge tint in the shade Pomelico. Now my lips are not in the greatest shape today, but as you can see, even with my lips being in mediocre condition, the Blur Fudge tint just kind of hides a lot of those imperfections really well. As you can tell by my choice of contact lens, I was definitely intending to film a completely different look today, but I just ended up not really feeling like that, so that's why I have kind of purple toned contact lenses and I'm doing like a very unoriginal warm tone makeup look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little makeup look. It's definitely nothing I haven't done on my channel before, but using some new products, so I can't really obviously pass final judgment on anything I used because I literally just used it, but I didn't dislike anything on first sight. I'm feeling really cute. Definitely a good pick-me-up. I don't really have much else to say. Thank you guys as always for watching and supporting my channel, and thank you all for being such nice, kind-hearted, sweet people. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this video. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say, so thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back soon, and I hope you guys will continue to tune in and catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!